The update on my life is that I almost died.
Oh, yeah. We should probably talk about that, huh? All right, start popping, Bobby.
There I was, just living my life, doing the works, and I almost died.
The end.
Yep. That's my update. I was in the hospital so I went to so I had a seizure at work, and I've never had a seizure before, so that was cool. And then
So that was cool. Oh my
and
god.
then an ambulance and the firemen came, and they were asking me questions. And if you don't know, when you have a seizure, you get really confused after. And so they're asking me these questions, and once I was like conscious of what I remember, was way after I woke up apparently, because I was like having conversations with people and shit.
Yeah.
Way before I remember.
Oh.
But I do remember the paramedic looking at me and going, "Do you know where you are?" And me just going, "Yeah." And then he went, "Do you know what year it is?" I went, "Uh-huh." He went, "You know your name?" And I went, "Yup." And he goes, "Whether you like him or not, who's the president of the United States?" And I went, "You know." And they put me on the stretcher to read the ambulance. And then,
You know.
and then the ambulance took me to the hospital, and they were like, and then my wife showed up, and they were like, "Is he prone to seizures?" And she's like, "He's never had a seizure before." And they were like, "Does he have any medical problems?" And she's like, "No. He's literally like the most average fucking dude." And I was just like, "You betcha." And they were like, "All right." So they did a CT, and they scanned my head, and then they were like, "Your CT's clear. You're good to go. Everybody gets one." And I was like, "I don't think that's what that means." It's like, I don't think everybody does get one seizure, you know? Like,
Yeah, not just.
that doesn't seem right. And, so then they did a CT and a chest x-ray and everything, made sure I was alright, and sent me home. And then, like, that was on a Thursday. And then on Monday night, I was like, dude, my head really fucking hurts. Like, I understand that I smacked my head on the concrete really hard when I had my seizure, but it shouldn't be getting worse 4 days after.
Oh, yeah.
And my wife was like, "Do you want to go back to the ER?" And I was like, "I don't know." And then I woke up at 2 a.m. and I was like, "You gotta take me back to the ER." And she's like, "All right." And so we went back to the ER, and they're like, "Well, we don't want to do another CT because we don't want to expose you to that much radiation because you're young and healthy otherwise, but we'll look at your first CT and make sure we didn't miss anything, and then we'll give you they call it a headache cocktail. They just give you an IV, and then it's like pain meds." So they did that, and then they sent me home. They're like, "You're good to go." And that was Tuesday morning. And then Tuesday you came over and we hung out.
Yeah.
And I was a little fucked up from the pain meds. And then on Thursday, I woke up, let the dog out, gave him food, talked to my wife for a little bit, and then I went and laid down because I still felt like shit. And then my mom called me, and I couldn't really talk to her. I was like having a hard time getting out what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really making sense. And so she called my brother that lives in town and was like, "You gotta go check on him." And so he called me, and I was having an even harder time talking to him. And then he called my wife, and he was like, "Hey, there's something wrong with Bob." And then she took me to the ER, and they did another CT, and they were like, "Oh my god, you have a mass in your brain."
Oh.
And they were like, "But it wasn't there last week, spoiler alert, it fucking was. And they were like, and because it grew so fast, you know, it's not going to be cancer or anything like that. We're not sure what it is, but we're going to have to take you down to Phoenix to get surgery. And I was like, great. Except for I didn't say anything. Because by the time I got to the ER, I couldn't say a single word. And then they flew me down to Phoenix and went into the hospital. And the doctors down there were great. And everybody took real good care of me. But I got down there and someone from the neuro team came in. And she was like, so, you fully understand what's going on right now and everything? And I like shook my head. I was like, yeah. And she was like, you just can't talk. And I was like, mm-hmm. And she was like, all right, well, then I'm going to show you this. So this is your CT scan from today, and this is the mass in your brain. And I was like, holy fucking shit. Because the mass was 2.8 centimeters, but when you have something like that, there's swelling around it, so there's like a huge dark spot. Like, there's not a whole lot of room in your brain.
Right.
And she was like, and this is your one from when you had your seizure. And without even pointing it out, there's still a fucking mass there. And that mass was 1.7 centimeters.
Cool.
Yeah. The ER missed and told me I was fine and sent me home. And then told me they were going to double check. And then didn't. Because if you handed that paper to a third grader, it was like, hey, something looked wrong here, they'd be like, that part's really dark and big.
Yeah.
I don't think brains are supposed to look like that. And
Spoiler, they're not.
so then they did an MRI down in Phoenix to make sure like exactly where it was and everything, and I got emergency surgery, and they drilled into my skull, and the doctor said I had a really thick skull, which was pretty cool. And he also said, because he had to shave part of my head, he also said that he was really hesitant to shave my head because I had such thick, nice hair. And then when they cut into my skull, he said my skull was really thick. And it ended up being a brain abscess, and they drained it, and it was caused from a mouth bacteria, which is wild, and they don't know how that happened. And
Wow.
they were like, you must, and so then there was an infectious disease doctor that came and was talking to me about it. And he was like, have you had any dental surgery or anything like that recently? I was like, no. And he was like, well, I'm going to look in your mouth. And he was expecting to look in my mouth and see some, like, nasty-ass not taking care of mouth. But instead, he looked into my mouth and saw that I brush my teeth every day. And he was like, yeah, I have no idea how that shit happened. But you need to see a dentist. And I was like, you got it, bud. And then they kept me in the hospital. And I was down in Phoenix for 6 days. I went down there Thursday. They flew me down there. Flight for life to Phoenix. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because I rode in a helicopter.
Yeah. How long did it take you to get there?
About 45 minutes.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then that was Thursday. Got out of the hospital on Wednesday.
Bless you.
And I had staples in my head. And I pulled those out. Well, I had my wife and a coworker pull them out. Because I thought it was funny. And I recorded it. Not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. Didn't hurt at all. To get metal staples ripped out of your skull, apparently. Doesn't hurt.
Well, you got a thick skull.
In fact, on the fourth staple, I was like, ooh, that one kind of hurt. And my wife went, yeah, I caught your hair. So I had to shave my head because the hospital only shaved the part that they were going to cut into. So I looked dumb as hell.
Yeah, they did
And I couldn't shower because I had a fucking hole in my head. And so I had this greasy, nappy hair because they put like Vaseline and shit on the cut or whatever.
They could have at least shaved it down some more and wider area so that you wouldn't have to deal with that.
Yeah, it was like a solid, like, I don't know, it was like maybe like an inch and a half wide.
Yeah.
And then it was just an inch and a half wide strip, like 6 inches long. They just like, meh, right in my head. And then the rest of my hair was really long. It was like, I had fairly long hair. I hadn't gotten a haircut in a while. So then we got home, and once I got home, the first thing I did, I was like, we gotta shave my head. I can't fucking deal with this shit, because I can't shower, my hair's fucking gross, like, this is just pissing me off.
Fair.
And so we shaved my head, and then, we pulled my staples out a few weeks later. I have to do antibiotics every day for a while. And that's where I'm at. I'm recovering from emergency brain surgery.
Crazy, dude.
Yeah. So that's my life update. Other than that, not much.
Other than that, same old shit.
Before I went into surgery, my wife just made it to the hospital right before I went down.
Oh,
And you have to, like, she went up to the ICU and you have to buzz in. And she went to buzz in and she was like, I'm here for Bobby. And they were like, oh, he's going down to surgery or he's going down to get an MRI right now. You're gonna have to wait. And the neurosurgeon heard that, like the nurse talking over the intercom, and he goes, is that the wife? And she goes, yeah. And he was like, let her back because she has to say goodbye. And she came back, and the neurosurgeon was like, hey, you know, say goodbye, we're gonna take him down and whatever. And she was like, well, can I talk to him after the MRI? And he was like, no, like, we're taking him down to get an MRI just to see exactly where we're cutting and going in and where it is, and we're taking him straight into the OR, like, this is emergency surgery. And she was like, oh my god. And then he was like, yeah, I'm not sure if he's ever going to come out of this, if he's going to wake up, if he'll be able to take care of himself, if he's ever going to talk again. Like, he might be fucked, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it was really like at best, maybe like a 50-50 shot if I was going to, like, fully recover and be fine.
Mm-hmm.
At absolute best. Those were my chances, which is insane.
Yeah.
That is crazy high odds that I could have just been fucked.
Yeah, that would have been a bomber, dude.
And then they brought me back up from surgery. I don't remember. They didn't keep me awake or anything. And then around 2:30 in the morning, Friday, had emergency surgery Thursday night. I woke up, and my wife's sitting next to me, and she sees that I wake up, and she's like, hey, how are you doing? And I was like, great, how are you? And she was like, oh my god, you could talk. And then after about 20 minutes of me not shutting the fuck up, she was like, okay, it's 3 in the morning. Go back to sleep now. Shut up. And then in the morning, I was like, dude, I gotta fucking pee so bad. And the nurse came in or whatever, and they were like, well, you know, you might. They're like, how you feeling? And I was like I gotta piss. And they're like, okay, well, you know, we can help you get to the bathroom. And I was like, no, I gotta pee like right now, dude. And they were like, you know, you got to be careful standing up and taking it slow. You know, you might have motor function problems and blah, 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 and whatever. And while they're explaining this to me, I sit up in bed and get the fuck up and get out of bed, grab the IV stand I'm hooked up to, and just walk to the bathroom. I'm like, dude, I got to pee. I can't listen to this shit. And they were like, oh my god. I thought I was going to, like, eat shit. I was like a fall hazard. I just, like, walked into the bathroom. I was like, I got to pee.
I can't wait. I tried telling you so many times.
And then later that day, the doctor came in and he was like, so how are you feeling? And I was like, I feel fine. And he was like, oh my god, you can talk? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, how's your movement and your speech? Are you missing any, like, letters, having a hard time of speaking? Are you slow or anything like that? And I was like, nope, totally fine. And he was like, holy crap. He was like, I don't think I've ever seen anybody recover this fast from that
Yeah.
before. And he was like, I've also never seen someone have such an acute problem from a mass in their head like that, where I couldn't talk or type. It would just come out as gibberish.
Mm-hmm.
But I fully understood everything everybody was saying, and I could, like, communicate with body language, and I could laugh. And when they do, like, the psych test on you, where they're, like, making sure you have all your motor function and everything like that, I could pass it 100%, other than I couldn't talk. And he was like, I've never seen that before. And I was like, yeah, it sounds like something I would do.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty fun.
That's insane.
Yeah, I just, almost died. And then now, because I had a seizure, which we know the cause of and is now gone, but because I had a seizure, our state's law states that I cannot drive for 90 days.
Yeah.
I have to be 90 days seizure-free, which,
kind of blows.
it sucks a lot. I got like 1 week into not being able to drive, and I was like, this fucking sucks, dude.
Yeah.
And then I went and had a neuro appointment. It said that my neurologist could clear me to drive. It said, cannot drive until cleared. And I went down and I was like, hey. And he was like, oh my God, you're doing so well, and blah, blah, blah. And we talked for a while, and he was like, how's the incision look? Oh, it looks great. You're healing great. And all this shit. And he was like, so everything's good. And I went, yep. Can I drive? And he went, no. That's exactly what he did. I went, can I drive? And he said, no.
No.
And I was like, why not? And he was like, it's state law, 90 days seizure free. And I was like, are you kidding me right now? This is bullshit.
You kidding me?
So, I still got 2 months.
Fuck yeah. Only 2 to go.
Yeah.
Oh, 90 days is too much.
It is way too much, especially if you know me. My job
Yeah.
is driving. I have my CDL, and so I'm a truck driver, and I can't drive. Luckily, my work's been super cool about it and accommodating, and I've just been riding with people because we work in town. I'm not like an over-the-road guy. And so there's plenty of shit for me to do. I just have to get a ride everywhere, which is the worst.
Yeah.
And the day I can drive, I'm going to be doing donuts at the parking lot at my work.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I get it.
But that's my big life update. Is everything was normal. And then I almost died.
Sick.
And now everything's pretty much normal again.
Yay.
I just have to do these meds for a little while.
Yeah.
But I think I'm done with them next week.
Nice.
Or this week. I don't know. We'll find out.
Soon.
Yeah. Real quick.
Exciting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now that that little podcast episode of Mario Wonder is done, we'll see you guys next time because we got to re-record some fucking levels because apparently the OBS stopped fucking recording.
Oh,
So now I got to
sick.
take this commentary and just put it over whatever we re-record. So, bye. Bullshit. Figure it all out in the fucking editing. Bye.
Thanks, OBS.